The Supreme Court recently heard oral arguments in the case of the National Institute of Family and Life Advocates versus Becerra. The case challenges if the California Reproductive Act violates First Amendment rights. The act requires all licensed clinics to provide information about low-cost family planning, contraception, and abortion services. It also compels unlicensed clinics to inform patients about their unlicensed status. Here to break down the case is Talking Points Supreme Court analyst Shruti Marathe. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So when we look at how this is a First Amendment case and how it infringes upon free speech, what does that look like?
Well, basically, these unlicensed clinics are saying that their speech is being compelled and they're being unfairly targeted by being required to say that they're an unlicensed clinic, by being required to tell women that they have access to free and low-cost abortions if they're from a low-income family. Even if they don't, the clinics themselves don't believe in providing abortions to them, they then feel like it's compelled speech.
And Shruti, why was this law initially enacted?
Well, there are a lot of unlicensed clinics that were duplicitous in nature. A lot of websites showed that they could allow women to get abortions at their clinics even though they weren't even designed in that way. Sometimes they would delay appointments to the point where women couldn't even get abortions because they're too late in their pregnancies. And even during oral arguments, Justice Sotomayor brought up how the websites work and called into question.
And when we look at, how...
I think we have some audio from Sonia Sotomayor.
The website also says clients will be evaluated by nurses and that they follow all HIPAA regulations, which if they're not a medical provider, they don't have to follow HIPAA. If a reasonable person could look at this website and think that you're giving medical advice, would the unlicensed notice be wrong?
So in that soundbite, you heard that Justice Sotomayor is basically saying these websites look like they can provide these women with abortions, and the fact that they can't means that they're basically faking women out to think that they could get an abortion.
And when you're talking about that discrepancy and looking towards the future of this ruling, how do you see it going?
It's really going to come down to what Justice Kennedy rules. If you look at Justice Kennedy's past rulings, especially in Planned Parenthood versus Casey, you see that he has ruled in the case of abortion rights, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Absolutely.
All right, Shruti Marathe, thanks so much for being here.